From problem to solution, navigating interpersonal conflict. Hi, I am Dr. Jafora Fox, and today we will embark on a journey into the heart of human interaction, interpersonal conflict. Think about the last time you disagreed with someone, a clash of opinions, or a misunderstanding that frustrated or hurt you. Conflict is an unavoidable part of life, woven into our relationships, workplaces, and communities. But here's the thing, conflict doesn't have to be destructive. It can be a catalyst for positive change. Learning to navigate conflict constructively opens doors to deeper understanding, stronger connections, and innovative solutions. In this talk, we will explore the roots of conflict, unpack its complexities, and equipped ourselves with practical strategies to transform conflict from a disruptive force into a powerful tool for growth. Before we dive into solutions, let's take a closer look at the anatomy of conflict. What are its triggers? Why does it often escalate so quickly? Understanding the underlying dynamics is critical in addressing conflict at its sources rather than merely treating the symptoms. Miscommunication can really be a problem. As a message is passed from one person to person, it often gets distorted. Understanding, assumptions, and lack of clarity can easily lead to conflict. We might think we're on the same page only to discover later that we were interpreting things differently. We may have a different perspective. We all see the world through our unique lenses, shaped by our experiences, values, and beliefs. These differences can be a source of richness and creativity, but they can also lead to clashes when we fail to appreciate and respect diverse viewpoints. Imagine a group of people looking at an optical illusion. Each person might see something different, and that's okay. The conflict arises when we insist that our perspective is the only right one. We may have competing needs. We all have needs for autonomy, connection, recognition, and so on. Sometimes these needs come into conflict. A classic example is the work-life balance struggle. We must fulfill our professional responsibilities and take time for family and friends and self-care. Who doesn't like self-care? When these needs clash, it can create tension and friction. We may have power imbalances. In a workplace, a family, or a social group, unequal power dynamics can create fertile ground for conflict. When one party feels marginalized, unheard, or disrespected, resentment can build and eventually erupt into conflict. Recognizing these root causes helps us to approach conflict with greater clarity and compassion. It's not about assigning blame or labeling someone as difficult. It's about understanding the complex interplay of factors contributing to conflict and navigating it skillfully. Now that we have a deeper understanding of conflict, let's explore 7 practical strategies to navigate it effectively. Number 1, active listening. Active listening is more than just staying quiet while someone else speaks. It involves the genuine attentiveness to spoken words and the emotions behind them. It means putting aside your thoughts and judgments and genuinely trying to understand the other person's perspective. Imagine you're disagreeing with a friend. Instead of formulating your rebuttal while they're talking, focus on their words, tone of voice, and body language. Try to understand what they're saying and why they're saying it. This creates a bridge of empathy and opens the door for meaningful dialogue, which leads to number 2, empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but it does mean trying to see the world through their point of view. Let's go back to that disagreement with your friend. Maybe they're upset about something you said or did. Instead of getting defensive, try to imagine how they might be feeling. What might have triggered their reaction? You can respond with greater understanding and compassion by putting yourself in their shoes. Number 3, assertive communication. Assertive communication strikes a balance between passive and aggression. It means expressing your needs and concerns clearly and directly while also respecting the rights and feelings of others. One essential technique is using I statements. Instead of saying, "You always interrupt me," try saying, "I feel frustrated when I'm interrupted because it makes me feel like my thoughts aren't valued." This shifts the focus from blaming the other person to expressing your experience. Number 4, focus on the problem, not the person. Getting caught up in personal attacks and generalizations during conflict is easy, but this only fuels the fire and makes it harder to find a resolution. Instead, focus on the specific issue at hand. Let's say you're having a conflict with a coworker about a project. Instead of saying, "You're so disorganized," try saying, "I'm concerned about the project timeline because we haven't finalized the task yet." This keeps the conversation focused on the problem and avoids damaging the relationship. Number 5, seek common ground. Even amid conflicts, there are often shared interests or goals. Identifying these commonalities can create a foundation for collaboration and compromise. Imagine you're negotiating a contract with a client. You might have different ideas about the price, but you both want the project to be successful. By focusing on this shared goal, you can find ways to bridge the gap and reach a mutually beneficial agreement. Number 6, compromise. Compromise doesn't mean giving in or sacrificing your values. It means being willing to make concessions and find a solution that meets both parties' needs to some extent. Think back to that contract negotiation. You may disagree on the initial price, but you can offer a discount in exchange for a longer-term commitment. This allows both parties to walk away feeling satisfied. Number 7, seek mediation if needed. Sometimes, despite our efforts, our best efforts, we need help to resolve a conflict. In these situations, seeking the help of a mediator, coach, or counselor can be invaluable. They can provide a safe space for communication, help facilitate understanding, and guide the parties towards a resolution. Let's bring these strategies to life with a case study. Imagine 2 colleagues, Sarah and John, are working on a critical project. Sarah feels overwhelmed because she believes John isn't pulling his weight. On the other hand, John feels micromanaged and stifled by Sarah's constant check-ins. This conflict creates tension, impacts their productivity, and threatens the project's success. How can Sarah and John navigate this conflict using our discussed strategies? First, the active listening and empathy. Sarah and John need to sit down and converse openly and honestly. Each person must actively listen to the other's concerns without interruption or judgment. Sarah needs to try to understand why John feels micromanaged, and John needs to try to understand why Sarah is concerned about the project's progress. Assertive communication. Sarah can express her feelings using I statements. I feel overwhelmed because I'm handling a larger share of the task and it's making it difficult for me to meet deadlines. And John can also express his feelings assertively. I feel like I'm not trusted to do my work independently and it's demotivating. Focus on the problem. Instead of blaming each other, Sarah and John can focus on the core issues: unequal workload distribution and better communication and trust. Seek common ground. Sarah and John want the project to succeed. They can leverage the shared goal to find a solution for both. Compromise. They can work together to create a more balanced division of tasks. Sarah can agree to give John more autonomy, while John can commit to providing regular updates on his progress. This compromise addresses their needs and creates a more productive working relationship. Navigating interpersonal conflict is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, self-awareness, and a willingness to see things from multiple perspectives. But the rewards are immense. By approaching conflict constructively, we can transform it from a source of stress and division into an opportunity for growth, connection, and positive change. Remember, conflict is not about winning or losing. It's about finding solutions that honor the needs and perspectives of everyone involved. As we become more skilled at navigating conflict, we build stronger relationships. Thank you.